I'm Lysowski, the Sabres beat writer for the Buffalo News here in Las Vegas. It's much hotter than it is in Buffalo. I'm sure it was 112 degrees when I arrived on Tuesday. I'm sure it's going to be something similar on Wednesday as we prepare for the NHL-draft on Friday and Saturday, which surprisingly won't be held in this building. T-Mobile Arena is where the Vegas Golden Knights play. It's occupied this week. There's a UFC fight this weekend. There's an UFC award show on Thursday. So the NHL has set up shop at the Sphere, which if you haven't heard or seen anything about it, I would recommend Googling. It is sort of a marvel in and of itself. So it's going to be interesting. This is one of the last, currently the last in-person draft that we're scheduled to have. The NHL is going to shift to a remote setup or a hybrid in the next couple of years. We'll see how long that lasts. But as much as you're going to hear about the draft eligible prospects in the next couple of days, who the Sabres might pick 11th overall, you're going to see a lot of coverage about Macklin Celebrini, the consensus top prospect who's headed to the San Jose Sharks. But really, a lot of what is going to go on this week in Las Vegas is about next season. How are the Sabres going to improve their roster to try to snap that 13-year playoff drought? Now, the buyout window, the NHL's buyout window, begins on Thursday, so that is the earliest the Sabres can buy out the remaining 3 years on Jeff Skinner's contract if they elect to do so. Of course, a trade is a much easier proposition for the Sabres in terms of being able to retain salary, trade him to a team that's not in their own division. But Jeff Skinner has a no movement clause. He has control over the situation. He can deny any move anywhere, and he could simply tell the Sabres, I'm not going to approve a trade anywhere. You can buy me out, and then he could sign elsewhere. For the Sabres, that route creates $7.5 million in cap space for next season, which is no small amount, especially in a summer where they're going to have to pay Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. They may pay defenseman Henri Jokiharju. Both are restricted free agents. This team has needs, though, and accomplishing and filling those needs is very challenging with what their cap picture looks like for next season. So as much as losing a perennial 25 to 30 goal scorer is a very difficult pill to swallow for a team that was 23rd in the NHL in goals for per game, this is one of the few realistic routes that they have to create financial flexibility, to add different types of players. Now, we know Jeff Skinner. He averaged 30 goals per season under Don Granato. Would he fit under Lindy Ruff, though? Carolina didn't want to keep Jeff Skinner any longer for similar reasons to why you would think that he won't fit under Lindy Ruff. Doesn't forecheck nearly enough, no physicality, not strong defensively, and the Sabres, if they lose Skinner, they're going to need a top six winger, in addition to the third or fourth line center, the defense depth, an AHL goalie, and you're really betting on JJ Peterka, Jack Quinn, bounce back seasons from Dylan Cousins, Tage Thompson, and Alex Tuch. It is a significant risk, but is the type of difficult decision the Sabres are going to have to make to be aggressive, to create more options. Could it backfire in a big way? Of course it could, all right? It's, Jeff Skinner could go sign with the Florida Panthers, win a Stanley Cup next year, and here we are in a different locale for the draft, whether that be Buffalo or elsewhere, and they're still searching for the solution to get this team into the playoffs. But that buyout window begins Thursday. It ends Sunday. Unrestricted free agency begins on Monday at noon. Every team, their general managers, their hockey ops staff, are gathering in Las Vegas this week, where not only are they preparing for the draft, which is a very important part for any organization, including the one that just won the Stanley Cup on Monday night, but they're also continuing contract negotiations. Trade talks continue to heat up, a process that began a few weeks back at the scouting combine in Buffalo. The top draft prospects meet with the media on Wednesday afternoon. Myself and Mike Harrington, the Buffalo News, will be there. Always an interesting event. You can gather some intel on who these guys are meeting with. In 2022, for example, Matt Savoy revealed that he dined with the Sabres and had met with them multiple times, which revealed that if he were still on the clock, Matt Savoy was going to be a Sabres prospect. We'll see if that's the case. Of course, the 11th overall pick the Sabres own is for sale for the right price. Kevyn Adams is not going to move that pick under value. Not an easy trade to make. That's why we don't see those types of draft selections getting moved leading up to the draft. Teams above Buffalo are considering moving. How do you value the 11th overall pick when that player may not even contribute in the NHL for 3 to 4 years, depending on who you select? There's a lot of layers to this conversation here. Are the Sabres finally going to trade one of their top prospects, package them with a draft pick and whatever else may be to upgrade their roster? It is going to be a fascinating couple of days. The Buffalo News will have you covered from start to finish, and then continuing next week with free agency and Sabres development camp, which will run July 1st through the 4th. Busy time of year, but the hot stove is eating up as well as it is outside in Las Vegas. The sun is shining on me, so I have sunglasses on so I could actually see without squinting. And it's probably time for me to get out of the sun. But plenty more coverage to come. Mike Harrington and I will be here on the draft floor and with you every step of the way. Thank you all. I'm Lysowski from the Buffalo News. Take care.